Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Capital Conflict. I was telling everyone backstage, thank God that we moved the show a week because otherwise I'd be talking about the same bullshit for another week. But here we are. We're Brighton's bitches. And our club is to being pure chaos. There's protests planned in literally 7 days' time for our next home game. Maybe a win against Aston Villa might lift the mood a little bit in the weekend, but I don't believe we're getting that victory. And I also don't think the protest should be cancelled, whether we get that victory or not. That shit is reactionary as hell. Ultimately, the last two windows have been a bag of garbage, and we have basically sabotaged our season. But let me not even get into it now. We got a lot to get into in today's show. So you guys already know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the panel. The links are all in the description, and it's in the pinned comment as well. Shout out to Warrior. Big up to the chat. Big up to all you, man, that's locked in here. Big up to every single one of you. And yeah, let's get into it. Mikez, my fellow loser, what are you telling me, bro? Hope everything's good.
Could say that for a lot of weeks. Yeah, man, all good. And luckily, I didn't watch it live as I was saying off camera. I was out, but got to rewatch it on Sunday. And yeah, long day, man, long day. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Good to be back on the show. Big up the panel, big up the chat as always, man.
Come on, I'll be so real. This is the first match I didn't watch back. I could not be fucked to see that shit show again. I've seen enough the first time. I don't need to watch it again. Big up Northside. Always great to have you on as always. You're the only victor so far. Jay will be hopping on later. But how's your weekend been? Hope everything's good.
Yeah, everything's all right, man. Everything's all right. You know, the usual. Arsenal get a win and then the fan base get a little bit carried away. But it just is what it is, isn't it, with this fan base? But yeah, man, it is what it is, man. Scammed our way to a win. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? We move. We take the 3 points and we move.
Come on. Easy for some, not so easy for others. Obviously, like we started on Chelsea, I just get it out of the way. I thought last week was the worst performance of the season. No, Friday was the worst performance of the season. Bopped off the park by a Brighton squad that's lost 7-0 to Nottingham Forest and has 2 wins in their last 12 league games twice in the space of a week. First, we got the Valentine's Day back shots. Then we got knocked out of the FA Cup. Fucking pathetic. Every single individual on the pitch was poor to just average. There wasn't any player that can come out that game looking good except maybe Tyreek George, which says a lot. Just a random Cobham graduate with a handful of starts is the only one that seemed to be a bright spark in that game. Fucking hell. But we already knew the situation was coming. I just didn't expect it to be as soon as we got to deadline day. But that's also the excuse that's been going around. I saw Enzo Maresca come out before the last press conference and say, it's a shame that we had to play West Ham on deadline day, because if we got to play them a few days earlier, we would have been able to go and get some striker reinforcements. Maybe you should have just got that reinforcements anyway. Maybe we should have just done that. And that's part of the reason why I've turned and I'm actually back in the protest now, because this season, we should have built on the Chelsea squad that should have got fourth and should have got the Carabao Cup. We haven't done it. The only thing that we've done is improve the left wing with Sancho. And even now, Sancho isn't looking as good because there's no runners around him. The whole structure, the whole style of play looks so much more lethargic and so much more ineffective without Nicholas Jackson on that pitch. But ultimately, if everybody's playing poorly, it comes down to the manager. That's why the manager also has to take accountability as well. You said you were going to change things up for this Brighton game. There was nothing different to the last one. Nothing different. It's the same terrible play in the final third. The same high line with no press, which led to the first goal. And just nothing. One shot on target in 2 games at Brighton. Ultimate in terms of just it's a shit show. It's a shit show from top to bottom. And I feel like we're going to have more games like this coming up as well, because we just don't have a striker. So we don't have a focal point. We've got Neto, who's just a wide player. Noni, who was our only direct player with Jackson out. Now he's out as well. Palmer, been poor the last couple games. Colwill is a bitch. He's a straight bitch. He's got the worst mentality in the squad. Weak-minded player. I've been saying everywhere, this is a guy who will blame everybody but himself for his own problems. Chalobah ain't moved the needle. Cucurella done by Minter. Sancho ineffective. Net and Kunku. Fuck me, man. Why didn't we just keep João Felix? Genuinely, why didn't we just keep João Felix and play him in the 9? He'd offer me more in that role than Nkunku, and I've been saying that every single game I've seen Nkunku play. But here we are trying to sell him for more money than we bought him for. Because his price tag has definitely gone up. Definitely has. But here we are. We are fucked. And personally, with Man City just dunking on the Premier League and showing everybody how you handle a January transfer window when you need to make improvements, I don't think we're getting top 4 anymore. I won't front. I don't think we're getting top 4 anymore. It's a race for 5th, which is pathetic already. We might get Champions League through the back door. Great. But this is the season that we've set up for ourselves. Pure and utter sabotage. Don't know if you guys ends up watching the game back, but fuck me, disgusting.
Yeah, I saw the game. Managed to catch it, but I want to know what's gone wrong. Like it so drastically because I remember when it was around the Tottenham game, you guys outplayed Tottenham. You look certain, every Chelsea fan was certain that they were going to make top 4. The whole everyone was praising the manager, Jackson, but that was one of it. That was his first poor game in a very, very long time. When Chelsea were linked to a striker, it was I would like someone that can be an understudy to him rather than getting someone that's like a Gyökeres or whatever so he just doesn't feel I'm being benched for someone better, even though I don't feel like anyone should be going after a squad player unless you're winning the league or whatever. But I felt like everything was going right, everyone was positive, everyone was in the same direction, and all of a sudden, straight after since that Fulham game, 2 or 3 wins in 10 or some shit. I don't know how it's
2
gone
league
wrong
wins
so
in
drastically.
9.
Yeah, because I'm seeing everyone was so aligned with the manager. Now I'm seeing manager out. I'm seeing, obviously you mentioned a protest of fucking hell. How's it gone wrong so drastically? Because everyone's propping out everyone. Now how has everyone just dipped? Is everyone just burnt out? Was it you been found out? What is it?
It's a lot of things, but you've mentioned 2 of them. Number 1, the style of play has been found out, especially with the key injuries that we've had to Lavia and Fofana. But that also comes down to the recruitment because you knew both of them were injury prone, and yet you haven't brought in any replacements to accommodate for that. Our January window focused more on helping the feeder club than helping us. We bought a player from Strasbourg for next season. We brought in Matissa Mugu not to play for us, just to sit with our squad until July and then send him over to Strasbourg so we can bring Andre Santos back. Because of that, the players have been burnt out. You got guys like Caicedo and Enzo playing game in, game out, game in, game out. Nicholas Jackson's injury also hasn't helped us. For Inspired, the lack of finishing, he brings so much more aspects to our game that we don't have. The pressing, the ability to take defenders out of position, the ball carrying, the decision making, the link-up play. We just don't have that without him in the squad. That's why I was still I weren't ripping into Jackson too much with the lack of finishing. I was just onto him for that. Everything else, look, I know what you bring to my team. That's why we still can't drop you, because we also don't have an adequate replacement for that. And then both of them get injured. Also, Robert Sanchez being in goal for so long has just been a constant problem for us, as we've already spoken about. And yeah, it all comes down to recruitment, all comes down to overplaying, and also not utilizing the depth that we've had. Seen Renato Vega go to Juventus and cook every single game in the same position that Levi Coles had locked down all season, when he's never really deserved to have it locked down, especially over the last month or 2. Last month or 2, that brother's been shaky as hell. But there's been no rotation. We've loaned out Felix, we've loaned out Vega, we've loaned out Disasi. We've waffled about top 4 being a target or not. Last season, top 4 was the target for Pochettino. They kept him all season while he was tanking the season so badly, they had to lower their expectations and say, now we want top 6. Then he gets top 6 and they still get rid of him because he didn't reach the targets. That was what was briefed to us. Then we go and we bring in Maresca from the Championship. And then we say the hour that Pochettino's been sacked, that the next manager is under pressure to get into the Champions League. But then we go on the other hand and brief Maresca to tell the press all season that top 4 isn't a target and it's just about improving the team game by game. Now that there's a protest, now that people are all looking at Clearlake because the last 2 windows have been that pathetic and it's the 3rd season, so nobody's ignoring you guys anymore. Now suddenly Fabrizio's been briefed that the target was always Champions League. The target was always top 4. You fucking liars. Maresca is a mouthpiece for the owners. We knew he was a yes man when he came in here. So he's not going to tell you anything that hasn't come from the owners and the directors. So you telling us that top 4 isn't a target is from the directors. So now, like, you want to come out and say, oh, top 4 is a target now. We already knew that. No one was believing your bullshit. Because why do we not have a front of shirt sponsor? We haven't got the UCL money. Why have we not got the Jordan deal? Because they're waiting for us to get into the UCL. There's apparently a night clause that our deal gets halved per year if we're not in the Champions League from this season onwards. But it's apparently not a target. These men have just waffled, lied, and just done nothing but twiddle their thumbs and think about Garnacho. And this is why we are where we are now. So
you're kind of seeing the pattern of Maresca from last season. Like, I know it's bigger than him. Of course it's bigger than him. It's everything. But you're kind of seeing what Leicester fans were talking about before he went there. And I watched the Championship like last season a lot. And it was just Leicester, Southampton, Ipswich and Leeds going back and forth, having a couple middles here and there to see if they could give each other the playoff spots. And Maresca was part of that they were losing to Plymouth away and relegation teams away from home and stuff like that. You're kind of seeing the same pattern. Once they get found out, like, you have that new bounce when a manager comes in and you hit the ground running. But once teams start preparing for you when your best players aren't performing, this is what happens. Like, it's kind of embarrassing because losing to Brighton back-to-back after they lost 7-0 a couple weeks ago, that there's a big problem in the attack now. Despite Jackson not being there, if you're wholly relying on one man, there's bad squad building. There's a problem there. I haven't seen Palmer these past couple of games. But I say a lot about what I will say. As much as I rate Cole Palmer, I've said this a couple of times on my channel before. I'm not rating these modern day like number 10s. And the reason why I say that is because all you need to do to set up for them is get tight. Get someone to follow them and get tight. You know, like 10 years ago or like 15 years ago, not even that, when you had the Matters, David Silvers, even like a Hazard when he was on the pitch, etc., they'd want people to follow them. You go and skin them. These players don't have a game plan outside of when they have space they can create. So when people do start having game plans for you, what's your alternative on the pitch? Like someone like a Sancho, for example. I rate Sancho, but he can go combine with Kukurea. It's not ruthless enough when he shoots. And I rate Sancho. I've defended Sancho. I thought he was like been scapegoated at Man United, but you got to be more ruthless when you're shooting now. If as much as you're not a goal scoring winger, step up. It's not like you're a defender or anything. You're still an attacker at the end of the day. So like a Pedro Neto, we've seen him have good performances before, but we ain't seen him have a good performance in a while for Chelsea.
He got
a lot of these players
twice.
Yeah,
twice.
Your defending for the Matoma goal. It was, don't get me wrong, yeah. I will credit the touch, but why are you giving him that much space to even take the touch in the first place? Like Chalobah and Colwell, it's like they're not physically imposing centre backs, especially Colwell. But someone like a Chalobah gets skinned way too easily. They're not. There's and especially if you're playing high up. If you're playing high up the pitch, your defenders have got to be ready to have some form of recovery pace, but also you've got to have intensity. It's like the Man City game. As soon as you guys went 1-0 up, you sat high up the pitch, but there was one ball over the top, and there you go. I'm not even joking. It kind of looks like the way Lopetegui was playing at West Ham. You sit high up the pitch, one ball in behind, on the halfway line, you're fucked. When you're high up
if you play high up, you need a high press too. What is a high block? What is a high block?
What are you blocking?
You're just standing there, letting them pass the ball around the first phase and wait for an opportunity to hit a long pass. Same as like 2 of the goals that we conceded against Man City. And this game, again, it's repetitive. It's so that, and this is where the manager comes into accountability as well. That's why, like, for the first time, I'm looking at every aspect of the club and I'm thinking, we are so fucked. We are so fucked this season. I just want to get the Conference League and just wherever we finish. I don't know where we're going to finish now. We could still end up 5th for whatever that's worth. There's really 3 years and over $1 billion spent and 5th in a Conference League. This is what we're dealing with. This is disgusting.
Crazy.
And if Robert Sanchez starts playing in the Conference League, you ain't got a chance in the Conference League.
I forgot about that. Oh, fuck's sake.
That face of realization.
He's going to pass the ball to Anthony on some stupidness. Just watch.
He's going to fidget spinner a winner.
Fuck me, man. I can't be bothered, bruv. Northside, did you catch the game, bro?
I saw the highlights, bro. And bro, it's just like bro. The thing is, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Everyone already knew, yeah, that the best line of your defense is when you've got Lavia and Caicedo. Now, that's the best line of your defense. And what did they do for the first goal? Just bypass that with just a long ball straight in, and then Chalobah getting cooked. I've said before, I don't rate any of your centre backs like that. I know you like Fofana, and Fofana keeps getting injured. Fair enough, but there's no centre back pairing, and it ain't been like that for a long time with you lot. So as soon as your midfield is bypassed with a long ball, you can't rely on them centre backs. And if you can't rely on them centre backs, you also can't rely on the goalkeeper. We said it before the start, before we went into the January transfer window. Fix that spine. Fix the spine of the team. Bring some experience. Get a centre back pairing. Get a better goalkeeper. Obviously, the defense didn't really put the goalkeeper in a winning position in the first place. The way Cucurella was getting cooked as well. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like they were really shielding him. So it's not really one that Jorgensen, I'm going to rip into him. But at the same time, the spine has not been fixed. Cole Palmer, no competition. We said Cole Palmer's been poor for weeks. But then you get rid of Felix for what? For what reason? You have to make players accountable. He's doing the same nonsense that Arteta does. He's got favourites and they're not made accountable. Whether they play well or not, you must play. The way you're treating Palmer is the way that Odegaard's treated at Arsenal. Whether he's playing well or not, you must start. Bro, that's never gonna create accountability. Nkunku is your Havertz. He's the black Havertz for you lot. You don't know what position to play him. You don't know where he fits into the squad. Same situation. You know what I mean? You're bringing on Sancho, and then you're not putting him in a winning situation. But you know he's a link-up player. You know he's not going to burn players. You know what he's going to bring to the team. So if you're not going to be playing to his strengths, why bring him off the bench? Do you know what I mean? With certain players, it is what it is. It does what it says on the box. You're not going to get any more. The same, you know, I mean, a lot of things I'm seeing, a lot of things that are comparisons I can make between Arsenal and Chelsea. A man saying who we dropping Palmer for, bro. João Felix, bro. You got a tune out of him at the start of the season. Yeah, he might not be this, you know, the João Felix with the expectation after leaving Benfica, but bro, he may have done something. He may have started creating something. He's actually a good player. He can also play as a striker. He played as a striker for Benfica at times. Then he played as a second striker. So this is what it is. You could have utilized him because he knows how to play the 10 and he knows how to play as a 9. He's played it before. And whether it's to the level of not, do you think João Felix, in terms of link-up play, in terms of shooting ability, would look better than Nkunku at the moment? He'll probably be a bit more effective than Cole Palmer at the moment. Yes, Cole Palmer is better overall as a player, but he's not showing it at the moment. So I don't understand it. Cucurella, I've seen this before from Cucurella. As much as he's good going forward, I've seen times where defensively he can have days where he's off and he gets cooked defensively. So I can't say I haven't seen this before. The same as Enzo, but at the same time, it's like there was just no ambition, bro. Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, no ambition, no ambition in January, bro. And this is what you get. You know what I mean? Nkunku, this manager ain't really been trusted in Nkunku like that, and then all of a sudden you get an injury, and you think that he's going to be your guy.
Like, bro, he said Nkunku ain't been a 9 all season. But he gets more of the pity minutes at the 9 than João Felix does. Felix just straight up barely plays. This is why his agent's been whoring him around Europe all January, just trying to find a club that will give him minutes. He's gone to AC Milan. He's doing pretty well for himself. Like, I get it. The manager didn't want him. But I'll be so real. You could do a lot worse for depth options than João Felix. You could do a lot fucking worse. And there's been too many games where he's either not come on and we've needed to change things up, or he's just come on and it's like 5 minutes left. He don't have any opportunities to do anything. No wonder the guy's frustrated. No wonder a lot of the depth was so quick to agree personal terms with other clubs. Man just want to play. And I mean, play in the league, not just a conference league minutes, game in and game out, because for a lot of them, they're going to think that they're better than that. And they've shown that they are better than that. Like, have some earlier options off the bench. We're now doing it, but like, bro, we could have done that in December and maybe retained a few more of our options. The good thing about depth would be utilize the depth. There's been too many games where we don't do it, where the substitutions have been way too late. And that's part of the reason why these players have been pushing to leave. And that's why our depth has now been nuked. A João Felix could have been such a good option for us to bring off the bench or to be starting over the likes of Nkunku. Nkunku should have been the one that got loaned out. He's the one that agreed personal terms immediately with Bayern Munich. But we couldn't get that through because we wanted 60, 65 million for a guy that don't even play. A guy who's honestly been a flop for us. Been a straight flop. And I know injuries have played a part in everything, but this is a man who has played Conference League games, and I've sat there and I've thought, I haven't noticed you. I ain't noticed you all half. And then he just bags a penalty, wheels out the balloon and all that.
Bro, there was players that are available, bro. All you got to do is show ambition. Santiago Jimenez, bro, that was an option there. Wouldn't have broken the bank. You know what I mean? It's mad because I'm saying a lot of things that I would say towards Arsenal, towards you guys, which is crazy because you lot have always been the club that's proactive. Now you're reactive. You know what I mean? Wishing for the best case scenario. You know the players are injury prone. You know the players that are still, you know, you're not getting week in, week out performances from them or on poor form or can't really get into the team. And now you're relying on them. What do you expect to happen? It's the same with Arsenal. When the starting 11 is available, the team's great. As soon as you start using the players from the bench, you wonder why the level goes down. There's a reason why the manager doesn't trust certain players or why they don't get certain games. And now you're relying on them. You know what I mean? You're wishing for the best scenario, not actually being proactive and planning for the worst case scenario. I.e., even leaning on Jackson. Going into the January transfer window, you man was saying, yo, Jackson, he's fell off a little bit. You know what I mean? At this stage of the season, we need to go get somebody that's going to lift the spirits up and is going to finish their chances because he's been hot and cold going into January. You don't even go and get a striker. Now you got Nkunku. It don't make no sense, man. It don't make no sense.
The striker, the midfield. We've nuked our midfield depth. Our only depth now is Dewsbury Hall, who just looks bang average. We are one Caicedo injury away or an Enzo injury away from me just saying, end the season. I can't be bothered.
This is a problem now as well. I feel like it's a spine thing as well. Like, Robert Sanchez was your goalkeeper. Thiago Silva left last season in the summer. And yes, Thiago Silva was getting to the end of his career, but you don't have anyone that's got any form of leadership, any form of reading the game, physically imposing, composed on the ball, and their all-round game is nowhere near enough like as experienced where they've been in this situation before and they can bring everyone around them upwards. Even with the midfield, Caicedo's a really, really good player, been like one of the best midfielders this season, but he needs help. He needs help in that spine. And with the striker, you've only got one striker. So your whole spine through the middle is fucked. And it's completely inexperienced in itself. You need some form of leadership there. Who is the captains in that team?
It's mad. And any rotation, bro. What like Caicedo has to play every game. What's going on?
Him as long as he stays fit.
Bro, I'm saying, oh yeah, but Felix ain't been great. Felix ain't been great. You're telling me that your manager deemed it that you can get a tune out of Dewsbury Hall, but not out of Felix. Are we serious right now?
Also, the same manager, by the way, who said in December people pay money to watch João Felix and Cole Palmer. Okay, why don't you play João Felix with Cole Palmer then? I've seen it twice against Ipswich and Southampton, and I haven't seen it since.
Might get ripped off.
And Leicester. It's literally the relegation teams.
And this is the thing as well. Like, it makes it worse because obviously it's an everything problem where they've clearly bought players that he didn't want. But cool, even if they bought players you didn't want, but using options you didn't want is better than just using the same options and burning them out. If you got options on the bench that are still fresh, even though you didn't want them, you still have to use them. Because
Yeah, but why did
what's
they
the
build
worst
a
that can
team
happen?
to loan out though? This is what I don't understand about them. They're doing the same nonsense that Arsenal are doing. Yeah, we bought so many players, and half of them are out on loan, deemed not good enough to play for the football club. That should be secondary. You need to resolve the squad, starting 11 and your bench. Make that competitive. Then you go on to looking for players for the future that you may be able to spin a profit. Why are you buying a bunch of players that are out on loan that do nothing for your football club in terms of what your manager sees or what your ownership see, but then the bench is lacking and the team has holes, gaping holes that need to be fulfilled, and that spine is in the position that it's in? It makes no sense, bro. That's backwards building. It makes no sense. And this is the same thing that I call out with Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Man are saying we need a striker. Look how much money we spent on the players that are out on loan. Look how much money you spent on the players out on loan. And then you wonder why you ain't got money for a striker, if that's the case. Or why you ain't got money for a centre-back pairing. Or why you ain't got money for a goalkeeper. It don't make no sense. You are providing players for others when your objective, which should be the main objective, your squad and your team, to get into bare minimum Champions League position, at bare minimum, try to push on. That's not priority. That takes second place to what? Spending money. Spending money on players that you don't even know if they're going to come good or not. It's all a gamble. Let's just be real. It's a gamble at how good they're going to be. Mm-hmm. Cool. Even if you break even on some of them, is that a winning situation? You've just broken even. Isn't that money better put towards getting a proper team? Because when I look at your midfield, you still got holes. When I look at your wingers, it's still upgrade needed. Centre back needed. Goalkeeper needed. Striker needed. It don't make no sense, man. And I keep seeing Man United and Arsenal and Chelsea doing Arsenal mistakes. And the reason I'm just calling it out here because I used to envy the way Chelsea used to move in the transfer window. I used to envy it. You know what I mean? I'll be honest. I used to envy the way your club used to move. And I would say, why can't my club be like that? Now I'm like, bro, the club's moving the same as Arsenal. Young manager, along with a load of players and squad building that reflects the manager. Inconsistent and inexperienced. How is that a winning formula? You guys have got the example of 5 years of Arsenal under Arteta. Yes, we've been in the conversation, but we've been struggling to get over the line. And look how long it's taken. What are you, man, doing?
Maybe those rumors of us following the Arsenal blueprint are actually true. Because the whole 8-8-5th thing, look at us, 12-6-5th, the way things are going, or 12-6-6th, God forbid. This is why I've turned on the ownership. I always said this was the season that I'm putting the ownership on notice. If we don't get top 4 again, it's on you lot. I've looked at these last 2 windows. It is more than enough for me to say I don't have any faith in where we're going anymore. I don't have any faith in it. You lot had 2 windows to strengthen, and you've managed to find a way to weaken with us spending 250 million. How? Still not got a striker, still not got a standout goalkeeper, still not got an experienced centre-back, or even a Fofana replacement. Still not got Lavia depth. And forget the attack, when we needed midfield depth, you brought in a random from France to send to our feeder club next season. If there isn't a bigger example of where you man's head is at, it's that one transfer. You brought in a man who Maresca said in the next press conference is not ready for Chelsea. And he's only here so he can go to Strasbourg in the summer and then we can bring Andre Santos back. That's the plan.
I think it's also worth putting out there. I'm glad you said that about the top 4 because if you don't have that same standard, and let's be real, the standard used to be like Chelsea, you know, they were going to compete for the league every year, like years ago, and then top 4 was a minimum. So if you don't get top 4 this season and you don't put that same demand on what you guys have been demanding from the previous seasons, you're going to end up how Arsenal kind of were a few years ago, how Man United are now, where as the standards slip for the club that you are, you kind of get used to it, and then the standards are now below what you used to wish for. It used to be top 4 was a requirement, top 4 was a minimum, like a bit like how Arsenal fans wanted Wenger out, because top 4 they were sick of top 4 and the FA Cup, they wanted to win the league. And then it's taken them this long to actually get back to that standard. And those Arsenal fans are in a spiral now. You could end up like that if it keeps slipping like this and you don't put that standard on. So maybe this protest will be the change and the testament for that. But I don't know. It's going to take a lot more than that.
That's what I'm hoping for. Like a few months ago, I would have been completely against it, but we dropped form before January, which was the perfect test to see how serious we are about consolidating our position. The way we've handled that window, as well as the last window, and even last season, you kept Poch in all season to the point where you had to lower the expectations, and then you sacked him at the end of it all anyway. Sorry, sporting directors have to piss off. Igbali either change the model or piss off as well. And in terms of Maresca, I'll leave that to whoever the next sporting director is. If the next sporting director don't want him, get rid of him too. If the next sporting director wants to keep him, fine, but you give him every single profile that he needs so there isn't any excuses. Because you didn't do that. That's the only reason why I can look at Maresca funny, but I'm not Maresca out yet. I'm not. He has to change things up because things are getting way too Ange for my liking with this constant Route 1 high line for life bullshit when it clearly doesn't suit us. But I guess we'll see. After Aston Villa, it's Leicester and Southampton at home. I dare you don't deliver me 6 points. I dare you don't deliver me 6 points. That is the perfect round of games to get back up to form. Because after that, we've got no striker versus no striker at the Emirates. And God knows what that's going to be like. That's going to be a whole load of stupidness. But also, low-key think that's the right segue to get into the Arsenal game. So, yeah, Arsenal, the only winners out of the weekend. Merino saves the day for Arsenal in what was a terrible, terrible game of football for most parts. Bar Ethan Nwaneri doing his thing. Miles Lewis-Skelly with a good clearance off the line. But, yeah, you grinded out a victory that you wouldn't have necessarily wanted to be in a position to grind out anyway. How are you feeling coming out of that game, Northside?
Yeah, just that the inevitable's coming, isn't it? The inevitable's coming that we're not going to win a major honor. Basically, that's all I took from that game. Like I said in my match reaction, props to Mikkel Merino for taking his goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, fair enough. He's not a striker, but he took his 2 chances like a striker. So fair play. But that's not something I'm going to hang my hat on and say, yo, consistently week in, week out, Moreno's going to deliver for us. We've had this before under this manager, playing players out of position, and a lot of times it's gone sideways. When Odegaard got injured, we played Mikkel Merino in the 10, that didn't work. We played Trossard in the 10, that didn't work. We played Zinchenko as a fullback when he's a 10, that didn't work. In terms of getting us over the line, we've played Kivior as a centre-back and Timber as centre-back, and they've looked absolutely woeful when we've had injuries to the centre-back. So, like, when we tried to play players out of position, even when we played Partey as a right-back, hasn't been consistent enough in those positions, so just play players in their natural position. I don't really rate Moreno, but I can't lie, he was a spark to the game. But for me, bro, like, there's too many players dropping stinkers, bro. Too many players that are woeful. Partey was poor. Odegaard, just like Palmer, has been poor for numerous games. Sterling, I don't even know what he is, bro. He's non-binary. That's the type of position that he plays. Non-binary, because I don't know what position he plays, bro. Him and Havertz are both non-binary. I don't know, so...
He's making Willian look good for you guys. It's getting that bad.
It's crazy.
Fat Willian.
And I hate it because, like, I already accepted we're not going to sell him. He is going to be my modern-day Danny Drinkwater. I just loan him wherever I can until his loan fee expires. Yeah. I don't even know who's going to want this guy on loan at this rate. Like, there is Washed, and then there is Raheem Sterling. He is a level below Washed. I didn't think he could get worse than what he was at Chelsea. Because even at Chelsea, like, he was a relegation bandit. Give this guy Luton. Give this guy Burnley. Man's going to drop me an 8 out of 10 like that. Man ain't even doing it against Leicester. He's rubbed out, and he's going to be on our books again for 325k a week for the next 2 years. Great bit of business there, but fuck me, that brother looks swashed. But in terms of Merino, low-key, and I hate to even bring this thought process up to you, man, but if Merino balls out, I could really see you, man, do the whole thing where it's like, well, we don't need a striker. We got Merino. Merino can do the job for us. We'll play Merino up top. Because it seems so Arteta and so Arsenal. So it's like you guys managed to find something that might work for you, but if it keeps working for you, I could see you do the whole cost-cutting method and be like, I don't need to buy a striker now. I got Merino. It's all good.
Well, they were trying to do it at the start of the season because Havertz was scoring at the start of the season, and I did not listen to any of the chat. I kept saying this guy is inconsistent. He's inconsistent. Are we scoring now? You're negative. You're just complaining. I'm like, yeah, cool. When it reached January and he wasn't scoring, and we were getting eliminated out of the cups, then man, we're like, we need a clinical goal scorer. It's almost like I told you. It's almost like I told you we needed a striker because I told you don't go off of a player's purple patch. Go off of how they perform in the entirety of seasons. I need every player, bro. Even in the lower leagues, their strikers still get goals, bro. Like, it is what it is, bro. Why is it always every time? I got this new camera. Hold on, let me put it on. Why is it?
Oh, it's on a different mic. I actually weren't sure. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. I don't know what's. Oh no, not.
You man, hit the likes and sub to Mikez and Northside as well. Links to everyone's in the description and in the pinned comment. No excuses, guys. Run up the likes.
Apologies,
oh yeah, much clearer.
Mike. I got this new camera, and every single time it just goes straight to the camera mic instead of to the. Anyway, it is what it is. We're on phase 2. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, it's just one of them ones, bro. But I'm just tired, bro, because if you notice here with Arsenal, yeah, the players they get behind are the players that always fall off, bro. There were for Zinchenko, yeah, and Zinchenko is pivotal to the way that we play football. Nobody wants him in the starting 11 no more. They were telling us that Jesus was going to be the answer when we bought him from City. Nobody wants him starting games. They were telling us Havertz is the answer. They now want a clinical goal scorer. They were telling us, oh, Odegaard can't be replaced. Now they're seeing how good Ethan is and seeing what he brings that Odegaard lacks. This is what I'm saying. They were talking to me about Merino, bro. This guy, when Rice and Partey are fit, he don't get into the starting 11. No, nowhere near better than them. They told me Kivior's the guy and he's a top striker, he's a top defender, and that Juventus were after him. Bro, these man panicking every time we got a centre-back out. They're telling me Calafiori is the answer. Lewis Skelly's showing him levels. This is the difference, bro. This is the difference. Man was said with this Martinelli prop about Martinelli's this and that, bro. They don't want to see Martinelli no more. I know he's injured. Don't want to see him no more. These man, yeah, their player ID is shocking. Every single time they hype these guys up, bro, they're not what they think they are. And that is the problem. Like, the only one player before all these injuries that were coming off the bench to affect our game in the final third was Ethan. Ethan's now a starter due to the injuries and due to the lack of recruitment and winning mentality in going out in January and getting the players that are needed. So when you're looking at that bench, yeah, we have to expect Merino to be scoring goals like he did against Leicester, which obviously we're playing up against better defenses. We ain't playing Leicester every week. Jorginho to score a goal, or Calafiori to score a goal, or Tierney that's been iced out of the team to score a goal. That's a defender. Or we're looking at flipping Ben White to score a goal, or Zinchenko to score a goal. Look, bro, this bench is built to hold on to a lead, not to win games. It's built to hold on to a lead. Stink it out. You've got the lead, cool. Bring on the defenders. We've got a bunch of defenders and stink it out. This ain't, bro. It's completely unbalanced. This team, the bench has been unbalanced, even when we had players available. And this is why I always say, when this fan base always talk about who's going to be the understudy for this player and that player. Well, guess what? Now you have to rely on those understudies that can only do a job. But the reason you said they can only do a job is because you don't believe that they can do it consistently. But now things happen in football, injuries, suspensions, and now we've got a bunch of injuries. Now you got to play them every week. This is why I don't like players that can just do a job. Are you good enough to push to get into the starting 11? You may not be a starter, but are you good enough to push to get into the starting 11? Because if we have to rely on you, we now can't. We don't have the luxury on, oh, Jorginho, just play 1-2 games. Now we actually need to depend on you now more. You now have to cover a load of games. You now have to start. Certain players on the bench have to start games now. And this is why it's always backwards at Arsenal, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's always backwards at Arsenal. They didn't want competition for Saka. They didn't want competition for Odegaard. They want, and now look at the performances or the players that are not available. It's a joke.
So now it's still being used as Arteta prop. Because now I'm seeing the narrative that, oh, Arteta's keeping us in the title race with all of these injuries. This shows the level that Mikel Arteta is at. This has cemented my belief that he's an elite level coach. But it's like, you picked this squad. Yeah, you picked the squad with all these problems. Sorry, Mikez.
Yeah, this is the thing with Arsenal as well. You're still like, when you mentioned the Merino thing, the fact that he doesn't start when everyone's fully fit. Why are Arsenal buying squad players when they haven't won a league? Why is anyone buying a squad player unless you're Man City from like last year or some shit? Where you're like, I can say that my starting 11 is good enough to win a league and that was our target. I'll buy a player. So if this player gets injured, this player can come in and do a job. Who's Merino coming in to do a job for? Because till this day, Arsenal still don't know how to use Declan Rice. They're playing him either too deep, so you can't break the lines, or as an 8 where you can't really score goals. So Thomas Partey's still stinking it out. And Thomas Partey, like, cool, on his day, he's very good, but come on, man. That man's borderline 45. Odegaard is like another one where I was talking about the 10s earlier, where all you have to do in the modern day 10 is pin someone on him. That's what you have to do with Odegaard. Just man mark him and get physical, because he doesn't have any other thing apart from that one reverse pass to the right wing all the time. Everyone can read Odegaard's game if you don't give him space. But against Leicester, you're going to get space anyway, because they've conceded some of the most in the league. Their midfielders aren't good enough to even defend them in the first place. And even then, getting competition for players. Ranieri's shown that he can perform better than most of these attackers, apart from Saka, who's been carrying Arsenal. And even then, it's a debate. With Saka, he's been overplayed, and we're seeing the product of that now. We've seen Sterling sticking out against Leicester. I think Sterling just drop the pride and go back to the QPR if they want you. If they want you just like £5 a week or some shit, I don't know, man. Drop the pride and go back to QPR.
Kudu's replacement?
I'd rather kill myself. But like, this is the thing. I've got a point with Mohamed. Modern day Mohamed Kudus now. You want me to have Raheem Sterling? I'm all right, man. This Emerson gimmick ain't gonna work with every player, man. Like, you can't.
Honestly, Mike says you or like Palace or Brentford when they sell Mbuemo. That's my only hope, because I don't think the fucker wants to leave London anyway, and I don't know who else wants him.
The Palace, no chance. They took Nketiah and they see exactly why I didn't rate this guy. You know?
let Palace take him. They deserve Sterling and Nketiah. They deserve. I don't deserve Sterling at my club.
Sterling and Nketiah up top, man. Fucking hell.
That's brilliant. I can't lie.
Disgusting.
The joy is maybe become an influencer, maybe Misfits Boxing, maybe open up your YouTube channel that you opened up years ago. There's other options now, and I think there's like social media's opened up platforms for footballers to do other things. Just drop the pride. You can't. Where else are you going to go? Saudi don't even want you.
Sterling and dropping pride ain't ever going to happen. This man got dropped for match day 1 in the league, and as soon as the lineup got announced, this guy dropped a statement to the media immediately. Like 5 minutes after the lineup dropped, there was a fat-ass statement from Sterling saying, "Don't know why I've been dropped from the first team. I'm still training. I'm still ready to work hard for the club and everything." Shut up, man. You're terrible. You're fucking average, man. If Poch is the number 1 reason why I didn't make top 4, you're number 2, man. I don't think I forgot about you going 3v1, 2v1 with the goalkeeper and never passing in all games that we didn't win. Prick. Absolute prick.
Legitimately, how can you take a guy serious? Is about saying you're about to see the best of me. Bro, you've been in the Premier League since 2013. You broke through in the 13-14 season. It is 2025. That should be the end of the argument. How should anyone here should still have prop or still have hope?
Only Preston and Bolton saw the best of him.
Yeah, exactly. When was the last time he was in the England squad? Can someone tell me when was the last time he was even in the England squad? The fact that you're thinking about it says all you need to know about Sterling.
Might be the 2020 Euros. I want front, or 2021.
He hasn't even developed as a player. He's not developed once as a player since he broke through. He still plays like he's 19, 18, 17. He still plays like he's raw.
He was way better in those times. This guy is so rubbed now. I see him try and still go for the explosive dart through players. You are not that guy anymore. You're not.
Like, he thinks it's 17-18 season.
This guy, like, before he'd have like one good moment in like 6 situations, and he'd get a goal, but you'd be pissed off with him because of how shit he's been. Now he don't even do that.
Hey,
he does this like stutter run, like it's like he's second guessing himself. You know what I mean? He's not somebody. You don't play with that confidence that, like, all right, cool. If I'm gonna try to burn the fullback, I'll try to burn him. Or if I'm gonna cut in, it's like he's gonna try and burn him. Then he twitches. Then he's gonna shoot. Then he twitches, and it's like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Like, I don't get it, bro. It's like he's got Tourette's, bro. But you know what I mean? No offense, but bro, I don't understand it, bro. Like the way he plays football is crazy. But the thing is, is like Arteta's got no excuse, bro. Like, you let go of Chubby Obi Martins, you let him go to Man United. You didn't want to invest in a striker when you knew that Jesus has had a poor record of injuries as of late, multiple surgeries, so you know that he's not reliable. Havertz, you already know, is not a gunman. Plus, you were relying on him playing every game. Something's going to happen eventually. Not everybody's Saka, and it takes 4 or 5 years when you just keep playing a player week in, week out. So we had options, bro. He had options. There's no excuse, man. There was players out there that you could have bought in, that we could have bought into the club without breaking the bank in the last 2 windows. You know, normally, you know, most strikers, like the really, really good ones, go for a premium. You could have got Dovbik for 40 M's. Could have got Ivan Toney for 40 M's. Could have got flipping Santiago Jimenez for 40 M's. Don't have to break the bank. And then Mike's makes a good point, yeah, because I said this on my last show, yeah. I said, yo, we spent 60 M's on Calafiori and Merino. Both players don't get into the starting lineup. If you combine that money, that's 60 M's, with the 40 M's you already had and bidded for Cunha with in January, that's £100 million. You can go and release and trigger the release clause for Gyökeres, and you get Gyökeres. Simple. So you had the money there, and you chose to mismanage your money. Now, what's the problem? Now we're talking about, oh, maybe going and getting a free agent and stuff like that, bro. It's all nonsense, man. It's all nonsense. And the whole thing about we getting Zubamendi, that's all a smoke screen, bro, to try and calm down the fan base. Because every time that the whole fan base as a whole agrees with something, they come out with some diversion tactic, because it's not the minority. Everybody knew that we needed a striker, whether you're Arteta in or Arteta out. Then they didn't do it. So it's like, oh, don't worry, we've got Zubamendi. He's coming in the summer. Why are they thinking that? We'll deal with that when we get into the summer. Because when we get into
clubs are so relatable nowadays, it's disgusting. Because ours is doing the same thing. I know we've got a big window ahead, guys. You told me a 4-window plan, you pricks. January was window number 5. Now you're asking to wait for window number 6. Pricks. Absolute pricks.
Arsenal blueprint all over.
Here we are. They spent 3 years saying that they were going to do it, and here we are. Now they have done. But to the only team that did bring in a striker, Mikez, 1-0, Brentford. Very unlucky with the goal that you conceded as well. Like Areola made like 2-3 really good saves, and then just got fucked by another one that only just crossed the line. But how was your thoughts on the game? Like I only really saw the highlights in that Kudus miss, and that miss was absolutely disgusting. But yeah, it seemed unlucky.
Yeah, I think we should start with him. Let's start with Mohamed Kudus. I think we should start with the big name players. Like, it's funny, man. Do you know what it is? I always keep an eye on what other people say about West Ham when West Ham get brought up. And I know that barely anyone watches West Ham when they're not on TV. So I know people are trying to still prop up Kudus for the past few games or whatever, but I can't lie. I don't know what you've been watching. Because like, this is what I'm saying, yeah? Under Lopetegui, playing on the left wing and stuff, I'll give you a blight. I'm playing under David Moyes, I'll give you a blight. I get you're frustrated and stuff like that. You're playing under Graham Potter, who's a coach now. You're playing in your right position. You're playing on the right and the number 10. You're playing in spaces you're used to. And when you're not showing the performances there, you got to hold smoke like everyone else. Everyone else gets the same smoke from me. Mavropanos gets smoke from me. Like someone like a Thomas Suchek, who I've always given smoke, has been good apart from the Brentford game as of recently. I've given him credit where it's due. So Kudus, man, looking like a schizophrenic young Bane. I don't understand him. And this is why I don't understand him, because how can you take that many touches of the ball and not release the ball? Not shoot on target and not release the ball. The only time he's actually passing the ball is to the opponent in our own half. And it's become a trend. He did it against Chelsea. Long ball up to their right wing for no reason. He did it against Brentford. Him and Paquetá just doing fucking samba nonsense in our own half. I don't know what's going on. They play like they're listening to compilation music. Like, I don't understand when I'm watching them. How can you just fiddle around with the ball in the first phase of play constantly? And the thing is, we've lost that spark from him. We've lost that dribbling ability, the way he used to just spin players and run at players and then release the ball. That quick thinking. He's good off instinct. When he has to think about it, he flops. And this is the thing. I expect better from the big name players. If I've seen you put in great performances in the past, and yes, they were glimpses, I expect more from you. I expect you to put that in week out under a proper coach. Because that's why I've given you a blight under Lopetegui. You are shit off the left because that's not your position. But when you are being shit in your actual position, no one can say shit about you anymore. No one can say shit about you.
And I swear, if I stopped concentrating, I would have thought we're still talking about Sterling.
Yeah, do you know what? That's why I was like, that's why I looked at you like mad when you said Sterling for the Kudus replacement. Because we just get an older Kudus at this point. It's just an older Kudus. That is from Northwest
Everything from
London.
the tippy tappy to the over touching to you're playing on the right now and you still suck. Fucking hell, man.
It's literally just looking like an abroad Sterling right now. And Joy, it kind of says a lot that Ghana aren't in AFCON if you're doing this nonsense. They probably don't want to see you play, bruv. They're probably relieved that they're not going AFCON if you're putting in this bullshit performances. And
It
you
might
got to
be the
chill with the
reason
fucking
why,
Ayew
bruv.
brothers. Yeah, him and the Ayew brothers. Don't joke with that one, man. I've seen Andre Ayew at West Ham. Don't end up like him. At least you got a trim. At least you got a hairline. That's all you seem to have over the past fucking year. That's it. You changed your hairstyle bare times. I'm surprised. Do you know what it is? I'm surprised I ain't seen the fucking 360 video, where the barber is just filming you behind all constantly when you're just standing still with a fucking trim. I'm surprised I ain't seen that fucking video yet. Every time a player performs like shit, we always get a video of just HD barbers or whatever the fuck they're called, just going around the player like this when they've got a trim. I'm surprised I ain't seen that from you yet. That's the next move. That's the type I see from like Richarlison and them, man. When they do shit, they get a trim like that. And then a barber's just filming them around with fucking, I don't know, K-Trap in the background or some shit. I'm surprised I ain't seen that from you. And that's your next move, I can tell. I've seen it before. And this is the thing, it's not only him. Edson
Are
Alvarez.
fans turning on Kudus quickly?
Yes, they are, yeah, they are. And rightly so. Because you can't just walk around like a little bitch every time you lose the ball. Get your head in the game. Lopetegui isn't here anymore. Tanibo even rushed him. Everyone was sick of him. I wanted to rush him, but I never got to meet him. He's gone now. He's gone. Perform. And your Ajax mate, Edson Alvarez, I've been done with this guy. I've been done with him. You see the back-to-back red cards he got at the start of the season? He got a red card against Forest, And before that game, I predicted he would get the red card. How can I predict before a game that you're getting a red card? I'm not friends with Paquetá. I don't know how to bet. But I should have. Because if I could predict you're going to get a red card and you did it back-to-back games, it's time to go. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't got a red card since August. That's good for you. But listen, if you're a midfielder that can't progress the ball, can't tackle, isn't mobile, dribbles too much. I hate when fucking CDMs dribble too much, take too many touches of the ball, thinking you're actually good going forward, good driving with the ball. And then you lose the ball and you kick the shit out of someone, then you're on a yellow card. That
sounds familiar.
Yep, there we are. And do you know what? He is just a Mexican Gallagher. How about that? He is just a Mexican Gallagher without the energy. I'm going so far to say he's worse. In his head, he's like prime Busquets. On the pitch, prime Carlos Sanchez at best. I watched Carlos Sanchez at West Ham as well. That's someone I had to endure my fucking eyes on at West Ham, Alvarez, you're in the conversation with Carlos Sanchez. You're not in the conversation with Sergio fucking Busquets. I'll tell you that for sure. Like you and Souček in midfield, As much as Souček's been good recently, he went back to type against Brentford. That's why fucking James Ward-Prowse is coming on in the 45th minute. Someone who couldn't get into Nottingham Forest. Ryan Yates is playing over fucking Ward-Prowse. And he's coming on as a 45-minute sub. We recalled him. We record James Ward-Prowse is 2025. Fuck off.
I thought it was just solely for set pieces at this point.
Fucking hell.
But where would you rebuild the team though? Because you guys were getting opened up defensively. Your centre back pairing, bro, like that was ridiculous. Like both of them, Kilman and Mavropanos, were both out of position, both getting cooked. Like, would you not just like in the summer? Where would you? What positions do you want strengthening? Because would you not just want to like rebuild that defense? I know Wan-Bissaka's had some good games for you this season, but the defense as a whole, as a unit, it needs a rebuild, in my opinion, bro. Like you need to start with the back line and build with that. I mean, you got Fulkrug. What is he back for next season? Is he out for the whole season?
I think he's out for the whole season.
He's out for the whole season. So you got a striker. You got Kudus that you support. Kudus and Bowen, they are good players. You just need to get the right balance. But bro, you just need a stronger defense to at least give you a fighting chance. Because bro, you were getting opened up in that first half. Like, bro, it was.
Yeah.
It was
for the goal. I thought Emerson and Wan-Bissaka on opposite wings.
What? Bruv, I don't know what was happening there. Again, compilation music. Play like you got compilation music in the background. And this is the thing. The joy is Potter, since he's come in, every game that Mavropanos hasn't played, I'm not even just scapegoating him, it's the truth. every game he hasn't played, we've done quite well defensively. The problem is every time Max Kilman has played well, it's without that prick beside him. I've said before about Mavropanos, I said all I need to know, or all I've needed to say, like with him, like he is one of the biggest bonus in the whole team. Like when we get a back four, like Tadebo's back, so I'm hoping that Potter just plays Emerson, Kilman, Tadebo, Wan-Bissaka, because they actually play well together. But the problem is, a lot of the start of the season, the reason why we conceded so many goals was because of the previous manager. And when you got Mavropanos just playing high up the pitch and there's constantly pressure on you, he is prone to at least 3 errors per game. And that's the thing he will give you. We were playing Soufal and Cresswell at centre back against Chelsea and Villa, and they were outperforming Mavropanos in his position. They are 40-year-old fullbacks, basically 40-year-old fullbacks in the centre back position. So for me, when it comes to rebuilding the team, I need every midfielder at the club upgraded. When Graham Potter was at Brighton, he had Bissouma, he had Caicedo, McAllister, Lallana, all have some form of at least power, technical ability, or both. Bissouma at that time was at least a good player. Everyone wanted him at the time. Yep. We've got nothing. We've got nothing in that when it comes to progressing the ball from deep. No power, no pace, no technical ability. Ward-Prowse is the only one that can break the lines in that midfield, that is playing in the deeper positions. But come on, Ward-Prowse in 2025, what are we doing? Edson Alvarez, what are we doing? Thomas Souček, he tries his best. Don't get me wrong, he does try his best. He's really trying his best. But come on, man, he's not the level. He's not the level. Unless you're playing Paquetá deeper for the rest of the season, or Soler deeper, someone who's actually technical, who can break the lines, then cool. But even Lucas Paquetá, I can't lie, yeah, just fucking say he's guilty and be done with it. Say he's guilty and be done with it. I've fucking had enough. I've defended you enough. But one assist in the Conference League final, yeah, cool. We don't win many trophies, cool. Credit in the bank doesn't exist in my eyes. I don't give a fuck. Mark Noble is our sporting director right now. He's about 50. He do a better job than any of these midfielders right now. Mark Noble wasn't that bad. The core Noble used to hold, compared to what these players are doing right now, is zilch. Zilch in comparison. Paquetá,
I'm glad for your mental state that Bowen bagged the winner in that final. Imagine if it was a Kudus or a Souček or something like that, or Alvarez. He won you the Conference League, mate. All that shit.
Luckily, Kudus and Alvarez weren't even there. Now, thank God for that, because like this is the thing. Because that was just a month before we.
That was the Rice season.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Jared Bowen, we'd be talking to Millwall. We'd be talking to Millwall right now. We'd be doing that Dockers Derby and all that.
Northside, I know you got a bounce, man, but bless up, man. Been great to have you on. Love every time, man. I'm going to send everyone over in a few minutes.
No worries, man. Big up, man. Big up, Mikez. Big up, Lewis. And yeah, man. Just don't be toxic and negative, innit?
I might as well just rename the show that at this point.
Yeah, that's what it should be. Yeah, fucking hell, man.
Love care, man. Speaking of it, love.
In a bit.
Love.
But this is the thing. Without Jared Bowen, we'd be doing Dockers Derby, Green Street, and all that. Like, we'd be doing that with Millwall. We'd battling with Millwall and then, man. Go Loftus
You might enjoy
Road
football a bit more.
Nah, I don't want to go back now. That was one of my first seasons. That was my first season.
I always thought it'd be like a little thing for like clubs like West End and especially Newcastle when they went down. Be like, hey, you know what? At least I can enjoy watching my team win for a season before I go back to the status quo.
I don't want to have that mentality though, because you end up like Southampton and them lot. Because this is the thing. When you come up with West Ham in the Championship, we've never won the Championship. We had to qualify for the playoffs every time we've been there. That's just typical of us, not winning the fucking Championship. Can't even win that. And this is the problem. Like the big name players, I'm gonna have to hold you to a higher standard anyway. So when we don't see these big performances, you're gonna get criticism like this. People like Paquetá, people like Kudus got to perform because Jared Bowen's always performing. Jared Bowen's, if he's not scoring, he's creating. He doesn't get the credit he deserves outside of West Ham. People always talking about other wingers like Gordon and the Boomer and them, man. Like he's been doing it season in, season out.
I don't know, man. Bowen's always one of them wingers that I'll hear top 6 fans talk about. I'll be like, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting him as a replacement. Wouldn't mind getting a Bowen, for example. He just seems more like one of those untouchable, like I get a one club man sort of vibe with him. Well, I feel like he's settled at West Ham. I don't think he's really gonna force a move or anything. Man's basically the king over there. He's built a legacy, winning goal in the European Cup final. So I think that's kind of why, if anything. I just feel like I don't think we're going to have a chance with him.
Yeah, he's on a 7-year contract, so he's untouchable.
Like, okay, there you go. I didn't even know that.
like 7 or 8 years. I can't remember what he signed last year, but he signed it last year. He's our captain now. And without him, yeah, we'd be fucked. We'd be completely fucked. And listen, Evan Ferguson's here now, so I want him to play up front. He had a good cameo when he came on when I watched the game, but this could go either way when it comes to West Ham. When it comes to West Ham strikers, there's done upon done upon done. There's usually either the manager not using them right, or it's a complete non-fit, or they're just not good enough. So Ferguson could be like the fucking West Ham's Robbie Keane, or he could look like Neil from the in-betweeners. Either way, I can't figure it out when it comes to Evan Ferguson. He's not the kind of player where
You didn't
it's like
get a lot of that
race,
game, then I'm guessing.
like he made the right runs. He put his body on the line, like in terms of like he put his body in the box where he's making the right runs and stuff. But it's not a level raiser. I wasn't really a fan of the signing in the first place because we're just developing a player for another club. However, he's all you got now, so use him. Use him for the rest of the season. He's your guy from Brighton. Even though he didn't play much when he was at Brighton over there because he was only like 17, 18. It was De Zerbi that actually brought him through. But Potter would have known him from there because he was on the cusp of still going through. So play him. But a lot of these players just need to rise it, man, because only Wan-Bissaka and Bowen have been consistent all season.
That's just your whole right side.
Yeah.
It explains why you are so right side heavy. But I hear it. Shout out to Fata. Man just said rattling people complete. Yeah, I'm really surprised they made a TikTok out of that because they're setting you guys up to just
what
get
happened?
Oh, I really got to play it. One sec. Shout out Fata though. Shout out DJ Fats all the time. I'll play this just before we round it off. And yeah, so Fata made a Clear Lake diss track. So
you might as well make a new diss for Clear Lake.
So is the audio still going through my fucking... One sec.
Too far, I heard it.
Oh, did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, so it must just
pulling
be
up
me
the
then.
lyrics.
Somebody get the B up, man.
Can you still hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it, yeah.
Okay.
Say
this
Bali.
is
I
me.
hear you got some kids.
Boom.
But I
Boom.
try
There we
not
go.
place with all my concerns.
Boom. Boom.
To anyone who's
Can we
done
take
with
the
them
beat
over
out
the
and
burn.
listen to the lyrics?
I said, let's take what we earn. They tell me clearly getting sloppy with these hand-me-downs, partner sniffing around the deals like hounds. And what's that out consultant is around certified owners, more like certified. What?
Poor Nina in the middle of all that. I swear down. Fucking hell. Shout out Fata, man. Shout out DJ Fats every single time. Fat, if you're in here, give us a little mustard for the chat and all of that. There, yeah, didn't even have to ask. There you go. Go on, Fata, my G. There's 25 quote tweets. Fucking hell, man.
Oh, no.
Oh, brother. Right, shout out to Omar, shout out to Abdi, shout out to Jason. Big up to all you, man. Hit the like, sub to Mike's, sub to Northside, sub to Jay's channel. We're going to send you guys over to Northside as well. He had to rush because Faz was waiting in the background. But everybody head over there. I might be on there myself. I'll see you guys soon. Big up.